Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to Cosmo Films Limited Q2 FY 2022 earnings conference call. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode. There will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star and then 0 on your touchtone telephone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Bhavya Shah. Thank you and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Inba. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Essential Technologies, I welcome you all to Cosmo Films Limited Q2 FY22 earnings conference call. From the management, we have CEO Mr. Pankaj Poddar and CFO Mr. Neeraj Jain. I request you all to refer to the investor presentation which is uploaded on the website, which can throw much more light. Starting off with the statutory declaration, certain statements in the conference call may be forward-looking. These statements are based on management current expectations and are subject to uncertainties and changes in circumstances. These statements are not guarantees of future results. Now may I request Mr. Neeraj Jain to take us through his opening remarks, subsequent to which we can open up the floor for the Q&A. Thank you and over to you, Neeraj Jain.
Well, thank you. Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Neeraj Jain, CFO at Cosmo Films, joined by Pankaj Poddar, CEO at Cosmo Films. Our financial results and investors' presentations both are uploaded on the company's website. Well, we'll start with the call with a brief on the company's performance, which may be followed by the questions. The company has posted record consolidated EBITDA of 152 crore rupees during the September 21 quarter. In fact, with this quarter now, this is continuously in a row uptick performance by the company in terms of the EBITDA from last 10 quarters. Consolidated sale for the quarter is 759 crore rupees, which is 36% higher compared to September 20 quarter. And this was largely for three reasons: higher specialty sale by more than 20%, increased margins, and third is raw material price increase, which got passed on to the customers. The EBITDA has increased to 152 crore rupees, which is in fact 54% higher compared to last year's similar quarter, on the back of three key factors. First is higher specialty sales, which has grown for us more than 20%. Better operating margins. EOPP film margin during September 21 quarter was running 40 rupee per kg as against 27 rupee per kg in September 20 quarter. And third factor is of course the uptick performance by the overseas subsidiaries. Subsidiaries taken together have contributed 24 crore rupee of EBITDA as against 5 crore rupee in the similar quarter last year. Subsidiaries are doing very well on the back of higher sales and better margins. There are a lot of operational efficiencies also we could drive on favorable side in overseas subsidiaries. Enhanced EBITDA together with the lower finance cost and lower effective tax rate led to increase in PAT by 83%. In fact, EPS increases by 96% as we have done buyback of shares in December 2020 quarter. On trailing 12 months basis, EPS now is 178 rupee per share as compared to 127 rupee per share at the end of the March 2021. Now again, based on the trailing 12 months, ROCE is close to 24% and return on equity is close to 32%, which is one of the best in fact in the industry. On balance sheet side, net debt to EBITDA is stand at 0.85 times and net debt to equity is stand at 0.5 times, reaffirming strong financials. In September 2021, the company has launched its pet care brand Ziggly with the opening of its first experience center in south of Delhi, launch of mobile van services in NCR, and launch of e-commerce platform. These omni-channel offerings will provide unique convenience to and value proposition to pet parents. Initial response, in fact, is prosperous, and the company plans to significantly expand its footprint both in the digital and the offline in the coming quarters, be it experience centers, stores, and events. In fact, post-COVID, the industry growth has significantly increased in the pet care as such. During the quarter, the company has announced its first interim dividend of 25 rupee per share, which in fact is equivalent to last full year dividend, which has been paid at the beginning of the October 21. The company is looking close to 300 crore rupee of capex during FY22, primarily on the specialized BOPET line, value-add capex to further enhance specialty films, and on a specialty chemical division. The financials are expected to remain fairly strong even with this capex in the balance sheet, as the cash generation is fairly robust. The bottom line addition from the capex will be effective from the starting of the next year. Coming to specialty film, in fact, specialty films have been growing consistently more than 3 years, from last more than 3 years, and growth rate in FY21 has surpassed more than 20% actually, although the base was wider. September 2021 YTD specialty growth is even higher than 20%. The company is in process of ordering several other value-add assets for further growth of specialty sales. The capex size in these assets will not be very substantial, but of course the potential for the bottom line impact would be higher. As we announced earlier, we have increased R&D head numbers to further enhance our R&D focus. The company is further enhancing its specialty film portfolio. And some of the new innovative products, in fact, we are working on include shrink level film, direct thermal printable films. Coming to growth projects, as you can notice now, largely we can see now into B2B segment growth and B2C segment growth. First, talking on the B2B segment, growth of the specialty films is running fairly intact. The pipeline is looking robust. The specialized BOPET line will add to it further. And very recently we have announced new BOPP line, which will further enhance growth project. On the B2C side, pet care and very specific specialty chemicals will drive the growth. Progress on specialty BOPET line is broadly running as per plan, even with the COVID-related challenges. The line will add close to 20% capacity and is expected to commence from the beginning of the next year. We are targeting complementary growth in a specialized BOPET line, including shrink label and other high-end specialty. This will partially substitute imports as well in India. And this will also provide an opportunity to us to convert the non-recyclable PVC film market in India, which is close to 30,000 metric ton. The company has placed order for the new BOPP line, which will be world's largest production line, and this line will add close to 1/3 capacity to our existing capacity. The line is expected to commence commercial production from FY25. Now both these lines, specialized BOPET line and the BOPP line, this will allow the company to further expand its specialty sales. Textile chemical production line is under commissioning while the company continues to conduct extensive trials on the newly developed products. Now move to the ESG initiatives. The company is working on several ESG initiatives. A separate report covering details of these initiatives shall be shortly available on company's website. Besides environment and social impact, these initiatives shall bring cost rationalization as well, which will be reflected in the P&L in the coming quarters. And some of these initiatives include renewable power at all our plants, offering mono-layered structure for ease of recycling, power, water, gas consumption rationalization, rainwater harvesting and reuse of effluent treated water, waste elimination, recycling of the waste. We planted already more than 5,000 trees, and we have planned to increase this to 50,000 trees in the coming time. So we feel that, besides rationalization, of course, this will also contribute to the environment. I think these are the few updates on the quarter from the company side. Now we would like to open the call for the questions, please.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Anyone who has a question may press star and 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Our first question is from the line of Shubham Agarwal from Aequitas India. Please go ahead.
Hello. Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, sure.
So first of all, congratulations on a very good result this quarter. Firstly, my question was on the specialty film business. So in your opening remarks, you did mention that spread was very healthy at 40 rupees per kg. But given the recent increase in cost in various things like power or packaging or freight cost in last 1.5 months especially, so how do you see directionally this spread for us, and are we able to pass on most of the increase in cost?
Well, you rightly pointed out some of the cost increases. I'm glad to confirm that, yes, large part of these cost increases have been passed on. In fact, we internally as a company are trying to, work on the FOB basis rather now on the CIF basis. Having said so, I think spread is more a function of demand and supply. So far, we feel that demand levels remain very robust. Based on the industry information, the kind of the supply which is expected further on the BOPP side, and the kind of the demand which we expect that yes, it should remain fairly healthy, except if in a quarter some capacity increases, there may be some temporary impact on the margin front. Other than this, we feel fairly robust overall position.
So on the supply side, we are expecting 3 more lines in the next 1 year. Am I right?
That's right.
Okay. And secondly, on the master batch, so we commissioned our master batch last quarter. So I wanted to understand what is the current capacity utilization and how incrementally it is impacting our EBITDA positively. If you can, give some detail around it.
Well, we are running close to 55 to 60% capacity utilization depending on the month, which in fact is increasing on a month-to-month basis. So we are running fairly, towards the target to have the full utilization by the end of the year.
Okay, so this should increase our spread positively. Is that correct assumption?
That's right.
Okay. And can you give some numbers around how much the impact will be?
So you see, I mean, EBITDA for the master batch line is already positive.
Okay.
Now with the increase in volume, it should add further. What we initially indicated was the line is expected to have 2 to 3 years payback. The capex incurred on the line was close to 20 crores. So from that perspective, you can easily compute.
Oh, perfect. Okay. And lastly, on the various new products, we have already launched 2 products in our chemical side, and Jiggly was also launched last quarter. So I just wanted to understand as to how is the response of all the products currently, and what is our timeline for launching rest of the textile chemicals?
Well, in fact, the response is very positive. So our R&D team along with the production team are working now on the commissioning of the production line, because all of this so far we have been doing on the pilot line. Now we are going to have the the main line in place. So from that perspective, you may expect next few quarters, then it should further increase.
So the main line is expected to come up next month. Is that right?
Yeah, in the current quarter, September 21 quarter, we just started. So in the current quarter, December 21 quarter, we should be able to stabilize the line for the commercial production.
Okay. And given the initial response in Jiggly, now what is our plan for rest of the year and next year, if you can elaborate on that?
Well, in fact, response was very, very positive. So we already have experienced, a lot of good feedback coming from at various level of the customers. Having omni-channel presence is also helping the, providing the, end-to-end solution to the pet parents. So yes, I think expansion plan we are already working. As we indicated at the beginning that, it's more a pilot launch initially, which we will do. Based on learning from it, then we will further expand. Very soon we will announce our expansion plan.
Okay. And lastly, on the BOPET line, so last time it was mentioned that by Q1 we are expecting to get this commission. So the timeline right now is similar, or is there any change?
Yes, it's similar. Q1 of next year.
Perfect. That's it from my side, and wish you happy Diwali to the entire team of Cosmo.
Thank you, Shubham, and wish you the same.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Amit Doshi from Care PMS. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Sir, what will be the current quarter's this volume growth, if I just want to bifurcate, into the price growth and the volume growth?
Well, compared to previous quarter, it's close to 10%.
You mean sequentially?
Compared to June 21 quarter, I indicated.
Right.
Compared to last year, broadly similar volume.
Okay, fair enough. Sir, there is a mention of, there is a launches of FMCG and B2C products. So is there anything apart from Fabritizer that we launched? Fabritizer and the Jiggly, anything else apart from that?
Not at this stage. Jiggly, there will be a lot of launches in the next 12 to 15 months in terms of more stores, putting more services on the digital platform, ensuring that the services are being provided through marketplace model in more cities. So all that will start for Jiggly. When it comes to FMCG, we are right now working on a detailed strategy in terms of which are the other products that we should launch, and how should we go about the expansion plans. As and when we have more details, we'll be certainly happy to share with the investors.
Oh, okay. So this will be primarily in this chemical space.
Yeah. So see, as I also mentioned last time, that Fabritizer was initially a B2B product, and we launched it as a B2C product as well, because we expected that customers will like it. It's the need of the hour. And therefore we launched it as a consumer product. It is already now available at many modern retail outlets as well as in online space. And as we speak, we have also have a business head for it who is detailing the detailed strategy for it. And hopefully that study should be complete in next 3 to 4 months, in which case we'll decide which are the other products we have to launch, which markets we have to launch, and the go-to-market strategy. But as of now, we are right now only expanding on our fabricizer sales.
Okay. What will be your current sales of fabricizer?
It is still very small,
Very
I would
small,
say.
but
We have sold, if I remember correctly, around 10 to 12,000 bottles till now.
Okay, fine. There is a mention of that the synthetic paper market is Indian synthetic paper market is around 6,000 tons and global is about 1 lakh ton. So apart from Cosmo, how did the Indian market is being catered on the synthetic paper side?
See, right now, as far as BOPP is concerned, only Cosmo is there. Though there are some imports which come from the overseas markets, as far as BOPP market is concerned. India is having one unique product which is being serviced out of polyester, which is for digital films. In that segment, again, there are 1 or 2 more players, but that is a very specific product right now only in Indian market, and I do not think so that is a large market outside India. But the market that we have shared is largely for BOPP-based synthetic paper, which has many applications. And as far as that product is concerned, Cosmo is the only player in India. Though there are some imports which happens from Yupo, Japan, and from Nanya, Taiwan.
So, broadly, would you know that out of 6,000 tons, what is, so how much we cater to it? So, what is the percentage share basically?
Yeah, obviously we have those details, but we cannot share that.
Okay. This is sorry?
I'm saying Cosmo has a sizable presence, but how much is our share of business, we cannot share over a call like this.
Okay, fine. Got it. In terms of these patents, where we already have 6 patents and there are 6 more patents in the pipeline. So, what would be our, say, 6 which are already in place? What would be a contribution of that portion and that 6 which are in pipeline? Is there any particular product which is like sizable, big time market of any particular product that we have applied for patents?
Yeah, some products will certainly scale up because, obviously when you launch these products, you have certain things in mind. In the past, we had launched a lot of other products in the past which were worth the patent, but we did not apply for patent. Like the first version of heat resistant film that we launched was first time in the world. When we had made the structure for soap, recyclable soap packaging, that was done first time in the world. But for some of those products, we had not taken a patent, but of late, we decided that we will go for a patent, and therefore we applied for 6 patents. Some of the earlier launches that we had done has got good market share, and some of these products that we are continuously developing, I'm sure some of them will certainly scale up. But if you ask me today, obviously it requires a lot of innovation, a lot of work with the customers, a lot of joint development, and therefore it becomes very difficult to pinpoint any number. What we certainly share with the investors is where is our specialty number and how it will project over the next 2 years.
Mr. Doshi, I'm sorry, but I'll have to ask you to return to the queue as there are several participants waiting for their turn.
Okay. Can I get last one or?
So you'll have to rejoin the queue.
Sure, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to ensure that the management is able to address questions from all participants in the conference, we request you to please limit your questions to 2 per party. We'll take our next question. That's from the line of Miraj Shah from Dalal & Broacha Stock Broking. Please go ahead.
Hi sir, am I audible?
Yeah.
Sir, I just had 2 questions. First one is regarding the capex that you've said, that is approximately 300 crores. Does this include the capex for Zigli that was approximately 15 crores? Can you just, if you can roughly give the breakup for capex in terms of what is the capex for chemicals also?
Yeah, all that is included in 300 crores.
Everything is included?
Yeah.
Okay. And sir, could you also just tell us what was the specialty versus non-specialty film sales for this quarter? I think in the previous quarter it was 80% and we were targeting also 80%. If you could just tell us about this quarter.
The last 2 quarters it is hovering between 60 to 65%, and our 80% target is initially we had given a target by March 24, which last call we suggested that we should be able to do earlier. We are trying that, can we reach that target by March 23?
Okay, so for this quarter it would be close to 60%?
Yeah, it
or
is
above that?
60.
Okay. That's it from my side, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take our next question from the line of Sanjay Shah from KSA Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, gentlemen. Thanks for the opportunity. Sir, hearty congratulations on excellent set of numbers. So my question was, majority has been answered. Barring one was regarding this adhesive reach, which we are going to start from maybe next year. So can you highlight upon what are the adhesives which we are planning to launch, catering to which segment of the industry, and what is the scope of that business?
So initially we are going to complement our film business, and we intend to launch adhesives for packaging, lamination and labels. But as we move along, because adhesive is a very vast field, depending on the success of these 3 areas, we will totally evaluate other areas.
Right. Thank you, sir. Thank you. That's from my side. Good luck to you, sir. And happy Diwali too, sir.
Thank you, you too, to all the investors actually.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Mohammed Patel from Care Portfolio Managers. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for the opportunity. So my question is regarding, what is driving the growth for our subsidiary over the last 2 quarters?
So specifically the US subsidiary has grown very well. And I won't be able to share quarter-on-quarter numbers right now with you, but I can say that US alone will grow close to 30-35% this year. And even Korea, Japan is also growing by close to, I think, 15-20%. So overall, there's a very handsome growth in the subsidiaries.
What is driving this growth? Apart from volume-wise or price-wise?
It is partly specialty sales, partly volume, and partly price, all 3 put together.
Okay. And what kind of ad expenditure are you expecting for Fabritizer or other products?
See, right now we are not doing too much ad for Fabritizer, because until we have a robust strategy and entire product mapping, we are not going to do too much of advertisement. We had done some digital advertising earlier. We had done some newspaper advertising only in a few large cities, but that is not really substantial.
Okay. Do we have the capacity to cater to the kind of growth in the subsidiaries market also? Export side?
Yeah, that is the reason we have announced a new BOPP line.
Okay.
Which was done in September.
Okay. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take a next question from the line of Abhishek Maheshwari from Skyridge Wealth Management. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Thank you for taking my questions. So I would like to, I'm seeing that there's been a considerable improvement in EBITDA margins over the last 3 years. So is it because of increasing share of specialty?
Yeah, that is certainly one important reason.
If there's any other reason, could you share?
There are many reasons for that. We had put up one line in 2017 that has added to the margins. The market pricing has been favorable. That has added to the margins. Subsidiaries has shown outstanding performance. That has added to the margins. Specialty sales have grown. That has added to the margins. Some cost reductions have been done. That has added to the margins. So it is a mix of multiple factors.
Okay. So, sir, considering all these parameters and, if economic growth sustains globally, then is it reasonable to assume that the EBITDA margins should remain sustainable or maybe even improve further as, specialty share increases?
Largely, yes. We have stated many times in the past that what we can control is the specialty film margins. Obviously, commodity is also dependent on demand supply. But as you rightly pointed out, today we are close to 60-65%, and as we continue to grow, the specialties, a point in time will come that there will be hardly any impact from the market nuances. And therefore, we feel that a lot of these margins are largely sustainable for us.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And lastly, sir, could you give an approximate of your overall utilization levels? Are you at optimum levels or slightly below that?
You mean capacities?
Yes, capacities.
The capacities are fully utilized for us.
Okay. Thank you, sir. That's it from mine. All the best to you.
What we are trying to do is change of mix. But when you talk about master batch line, that line is only 50-60% utilized. And we are working towards full utilization of master batch line.
Thank you, sir. That was helpful.
Thank you. We'll take our next question from the line of Amit Agarwal, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. So, in one of the previous interviews, you mentioned that oil prices reduce our profit margins. Lately, oil prices are going through the roof. So, what is your opinion now?
Yeah, there is inflation in almost every raw material, every packaging material, the freight and so on and so forth. But I personally feel that some of this inflation will start to reverse, and hopefully they should start reversing from January onwards. Now, whether it goes back to the original levels, it will take a lot of time for it to go back to the original levels. They may reach back to original levels only in 2023 or mid of 22. That is really not known.
And my second question is, all big international e-commerce companies are shifting to paper boxes compared to film pouches. How is it affecting the packaging industry as a whole and your company specifically?
We do not have any supplies to e-commerce. That is definitely one opportunity for us to look at. But as of now, we do not supply to the e-commerce, and therefore there is no impact to Cosmo.
Okay. And so, regarding pet industry, Heads Up for Tails has just closed 280 crore funding 2 months back. Do you think they have taken the lead and will be number one pet company for near future?
I cannot talk about their vision, but our vision is certainly to be the number one in India.
So, are you going for outside funding once the company is demerged from the main company?
We have clearly said that in the past, that within 2-3 years, we intend to make it a separate entity. And what you are asking me is a very long-term question, and I may not have all the answers as of now. But certainly, we do see that this will drive a lot of valuation for the company as such.
And so, do you intend to open the stores on lease basis, or you intend to buy the properties where you open the stores?
Only on lease basis.
Only on lease basis. And so, my last question is regarding FMCG sector. Is lately slowing down the growth rate. So, will it affect our packaging industry as such?
We see a very huge growth coming from FMCG. Last quarter, FMCG grew by 15%, and that is obviously showing a positive result for the packaging companies.
15%. My idea is that they just grew by 8 or 9% this year. Nestle or ITC or some other companies included.
Overall, FMCG growth in the last quarter was 15%.
Okay.
And full year also, year to date, there's a very significant growth which FMCG companies have seen. let us not forget that a lot of new brands are coming in the FMCG segment. Earlier, every category, there were hardly 4-5 products. Now, if you see, there are so many challenger brands which have come up in every category. If you add up all of them, FMCG is growing at a very handsome pace. However, for Cosmo, packaging is only 40% of its total sales. We have 60% sales outside of packaging, and for us, within packaging again, we do exports and domestic. So we really do not get as much affected by this. But your question is, to answer your question, packaging is growing at a very handsome pace.
And so my last question is like Swiggy and Zomato, they are doing a lot of food packaging and delivering to the houses. Does it help the packaging industry as a whole, and are we supplying to companies like these?
Again, we do not supply to that segment. That is untapped opportunity for us.
But is it in future we are thinking of tapping that industry or no? Or we just like they're not too small a market to be bothered right now?
See, packaging is a very broad industry, and obviously Cosmo is not supplying all types of packaging. We are largely into flexible packaging. Okay. You have separate packaging for pharmaceuticals. You have containers. You have small containers. You have corrugated boxes. You have paper packaging. You have tin packaging. Cosmo is obviously not in every type of packaging. We are into flexible packaging, and therefore those are untapped areas for growth.
Okay, thank you. Thank you from my side. That's all from my side.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take our next question from the line of Ayush Agarwal from Mittal Analytics. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity, sir, and congratulations on a good set of performance. I have a couple of questions. The first one is that I see in the presentation that we have metallized films lines as well, and we do heat control films. And under the customer segment, I can see Avery Dennison is a customer for us. From what I understand, sir, the automobile sun control films that are banned in India but have a huge growth opportunity in the US. So do we have a presence there, and do we supply these films to Avery Dennison because they have a portfolio for these films?
As of now, we do not make heat control films, but in the future, we will be coming in that segment.
For automobile specifically, or residential market?
I cannot share so many details at this stage, sorry.
Right, all right. So my second question is that another listed player claims a very high market share in the shrink label film. So, what is the market like, and what kind of presence do we have? And they claim like more than 80-90% market share. So, just understanding from you, what are present?
Yes, so right now, again, this is one segment which we are going to come in the next year. And you are right that only one player has majority of the market. And Indian market is again still very small from the global parallels. And right. Once we come, we do intend to become a big player. Just to remind the investors that we are coming with the largest line in the world for shrink labels, which is the most cost efficient. And therefore, we see that, we have a very large opportunity because it's the most cost efficient line, which will produce one of the best quality of shrink film in the world. And therefore, we do see that we'll be able to capture quite a bit of market over next 2 to 4 years.
That's good to know, sir. So just follow up on my first question. So if Avery is our customer, then what kind of films would we be supplying to them, if you can share that detail?
Which films are you talking about?
I'm just asking you that if Avery Dennison is our customer, then what kind of films are we supplying to them, if you can share that detail?
We cannot share so many details on this call.
Okay. No worries, no worries. Thank you for answering my question, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take a next question from the line of Anil Nahata, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi. Are you able to hear me, please?
Yeah.
Okay. Congratulations for the last few quarters. The results have been very impressive and the growth has been steady. So, this is a very, very good sign. My questions are around Jiggly. I am super excited with this opportunity that we are pursuing. And I would like if you can give some more color around what has been the experience in the last 1 or 2 months of the store launch as well as the website launch, in terms of a bit of quantification, as that what kind of website visits, what kind of footfall in the store, or something that can be slightly more quantifiable. That is the first question, please.
So see, till now 120 customers have given us feedback, out of which 85% have given us 10 on 10, and remaining 15% have given 8 on 10 or 9 on 10. And most customers have written as a feedback that this is the best pet store they have seen in the world, and especially offering almost the entire ecosystem at one place. Having said that, our business model has 4 different businesses as such, of which there is retail model, there is a marketplace for services, there is a e-commerce, and there is private labeling. Okay.
Correct.
So we have just made the beginning with the first store and the website. The website offers services as well as products, and as we speak, we continue to expand with more services. The beauty is not just about providing all this, but the beauty is the way we have provided is virtually loved by the customers. There is so much of training that we had given to our people that they are able to service the need of the customer in a far more professional manner. And that is the reason that customers are loving it. And there is so much of word of mouth publicity that we have already started getting with the launch of the brand.
Absolutely, and that is visible in the website, the care that has been designed with. So my question is, have we been, let's say, able to hit like 5 crore of revenue on this segment, or still we are away from it? I mean, some kind of quantification just to get an idea. That's about it.
Boss, it is only 45 days of launch of brand. Only one store and the website. And unlike startups who throw a lot of money just to buy sales, we are not doing any of those funny things. We are going in a very systematic manner. But just to let you know that already we have, on some good days at the store, we have even touched sales of 75,000 rupees, and bad days we do 30,000 rupees sales. But average sales is coming quite well, and it is more than what we had initially expected.
So that's quite heartening. My second question is around the master batch. If I remember from one of the earlier presentations, that the master batch was supposed to cater to 75% in-house consumption and 25% was supposed to be sales outside customers. So have we started outside sales? And I understand the capacity utilized is 50 to 60% as per your earlier remarks. So started outside sales, and what kind of a revenue is this bringing into us?
Yes, so we have already started 15 in sales outside.
Okay.
And I won't be able to recall the numbers, but from the overall volume perspective, 15% product is selling outside.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Amit Doshi from Care PMS. Please go ahead.
Yeah. No, thank you. I think my questions have been answered. Just one thing, this segment that others, is it the pet care revenue figures are shared, or?
Yeah. The daily sales that I shared was for Ziggly, which is pet care.
No. I'm saying the segment, the current financial, this quarter's financial statement that has been issued, there is a segmental bifurcation. So there is packaging films and there is others. So the others comprises of this pet care business?
Not as yet. We'll start reporting Ziggly numbers when it is sizable in the overall scheme of things. This is still the old classification that we give, which is which is equipment and machinery for lamination, which we had been giving for many years till now.
Okay. No problem. Thank you so much and wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Miraj Shah from Dalal & Broacha Stock Broking. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks again for the opportunity, sir. Sir, my question is regarding the margins front, that this time we've seen some significant decrease in anywhere between 50 to 100 basis points decrease in our employee cost and other expenses. And that is something we've seen that it is coming down consistently for the past 3 to 4 quarters. So I just wanted to understand that where we stand currently, are these margins sustainable for employee costs and other expenses?
I didn't understand your question. Can you be brief in terms of what you want to ask?
Right. Our employee cost is currently somewhere approximately 7% of our sales, and other expenses are roughly 12% of our sales. They've been coming down from 8% in employee cost and 13% in other expenses. I just wanted to understand this decrease. Can we sustain this decrease in that we are currently running at?
Well, you see, other expenses actually have two components. One is the fixed cost other than the employee cost. And second, of course, the variable cost, including packing, etc. So a lot of it depends on the variable cost, how it moves. Like globally nowadays, packing cost has increased substantially. So accordingly, the other expenses might have increased. So I think that's more a function of how the variable cost related to packing, etc. moves.
Right. And sir, in terms of cost rationalization, I think we were on track to do cost rationalization worth of 100 crores, and we've achieved, if I'm not wrong, we've achieved 70 to 75 crores from that. That was, I think, in the last quarter. Do we know where we stand right now? Can we know where we stand right now in those terms?
Well, those projects actually, in fact, we started some time back, maybe 2.5 years back or so. And as we indicated earlier, I mean, majority part of this has been achieved. And that is consistent in nature, because once the cost is achieved, unless you give the cost increase, it do not wipe away. So yes, I mean, those hold good even for today's market.
Okay, so we're still at 75 crores roughly, right?
Indian Bank.
Yeah, rationalization. Okay. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you wish to ask a question, you may enter star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. Our next question is from the line of Bala Vinod Kumar, a retail investor. Please go ahead.
Hi, team. Thank you very much for this opportunity. First of all, congratulations for very good numbers. My question is regarding the management remuneration. I have been following from past 3 years. The management remuneration is very high compared to from past 3 years. It is almost 10% of the PAT. Can you throw some light on those?
Well, part of the management remuneration is linked to the profit.
Oh, the commission, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. And the second thing is regarding the Jiggly and Fabritizer. Do you have any like the expectation numbers from coming up? Coming 1 or 2 years, this much of sales we are targeting.
Well, it's very difficult at this stage to pinpoint a number. But what we just said on the call is we are looking for a fair amount of growth for the pet care particularly. The industry has been growing very well. Our setup has come out very well. Our initial experience has been very good. So yes, we are looking for growth for the pet care in the coming quarters. You will see much more from us in the coming quarters on this.
Yeah. The follow-up question is, sir, actually the pet care, whatever we have seen, when we compare to the core business, it is very different. May I know what is the main objective to do this business?
Well, it's all we can say is we saw a substantial opportunity there. Though there is no meaningful player pan-India level currently in the pet care, although industry has been fairly good. Industry growth has been in pre-COVID period close to 25%, and post-COVID it has further increased. So there was a very clear business opportunity we saw there, and accordingly we formed a business plan which we are trying to implement. So it may not complement the existing line of business, but yes, I mean it's an excellent opportunity to create shareholder value.
So, thank you very much, sir. Happy Diwali.
Thank you and wish you the same.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Shanti Patel from Shanti Patel Investment Advisors. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. I hope my voice is reaching. Is it okay?
Please go ahead.
Yeah. My simple question is, what will be the return on capital employed and return on equity as on 31st March 2022?
Well, very frankly, we do not provide any projection as such, but as I indicated at the beginning of the call, it's running close to 32% return on equity and 24% ROCE up to the September 21. And we see no reason why it should go down. It should be running healthy only.
So, meaning thereby, the trend is not downside. It will be equal or it may go up, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be. It should go well. It's running well.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take a next question. It's a follow-up from Anil Nahata from an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. One question I have is around just to understand that as we are moving more to specialty, I just wanted to understand what is the ballpark per kg or per ton realization difference between a specialty and a commodity kind of a film. If you can please give some light on that.
Well, we indicated in the current quarter, BOPP margin has been running 40 rupee per kg. The specialty, of course, is much better number, which broadly remains consistent over the last few years.
Question is more on the sales price. I mean, what is the per kg kind of a price realization for specialty and what is the per kg kind of a price realization for commodity? A ballpark would be good enough for me.
Well, realization actually, as you know, in this industry, to a large extent depends on the raw material price. Let's say if 100 rupees the per kg is the raw material price, for a base commodity product, if I have to indicate, it would be about 160 rupee.
Okay. And specialty could go up to 2 times that or somewhere in that region?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. As there are no further questions, I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for closing comments. Over to you, sir.
Well, thank you. So I think the company is taking all right steps required to transform into a specialty packaging and a specialty chemical company with in years to come a B2B segment and B2C segment separately. Company's uptick performance reaffirms the company's strategy is working in the right direction. A specialized polyester line, new BOPP line expected to commence in the first quarter of 23 and FY 25 respectively, which will add to the not only the specialty growth, the overall capacity addition. Company's diversification projects into specialty chemical and pet care are driving further growth. So company's focus shall continue to be on improving the specialty film, R&D, particularly on the sustainability side of R&D, which should yield further results in the coming years. These actions will continue to improve margins and would contribute in the long-term sustainable growth. I will just at the end of the call repeat the statutory declarations. Certain statements in this con call may be forward-looking statements. These statements are based on the management's current expectations and are subject to uncertainty and changes in the circumstances. These statements are not guarantees of the future results. Many thanks for joining the call. Wish you a very, very happy Diwali.
Thank you, members of the management. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Essential Technologies, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.